Part of the 8th generation since 1985, the Sonata has been a nameplate for the South Koreans, one of the easiest to maintain vehicles on the road. Brandon Hyundai has given us the 2022 Hyundai Sonata Limited in your Hampton Gray. This is going to have the all-out styling and more luxury for the interior. So you're going to have that infotainment screen. It's upgraded with navigation. You're going to have the leather upholstery, ventilated, heated front seats. The steering wheel is going to be designed like the Genesis, just with the Hyundai badging, and you're getting it for the fraction of a price. On the exterior, old styling, going against rivals like your Toyota Camry, your Nissan Maxima, your Honda Accord. This is going to pack a little bit less performance, but the numbers, the drive, the luxury that you're going to see. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Hyundai Sonata Limited entered 2022, giving us a more aggressive design for the whole exterior. Coming into 2022, it's going to just implement that further with a wide fascia stance, about the same as the Nissan Maxima. What I like though is the design cues. So you start with the LED headlamps and it goes into your hood. That goes with the chrome that's going to wrap around all of your window trim. The door sills are going to get the gloss black, and it implements all that line structure and design detail into the rear with your LED tail lamps and the bar on the lower bumper, all gloss black with the diffuser. Coming up to the front, you have your side functioning curtains, gloss black in between on the lower part. You're going to have a larger splitter with cleared still at 5.3 inches. The grille design, that sporty athletic styling, which you're not going to receive in the Nissan Maxima. Nor will you receive the same thing in the Toyota Camry unless you go to the TRD, which the price point to that can't even compare it to the two. Not even the Honda Accord is going to have a similar styling. You're going to have the fenders, they're flaring out. That's going to have 18-inch aluminum alloy, multi-spoke, multi-colored wheel. The disc behind it at 13.6 inches. The rear is going to be at 12.8 inches. Even the side, you're going to get that sporty styling cues. It's not going to be the longest vehicle. That's going to be the Honda Accord. This is at 192.9 inches. A wheelbase at 111.8 inches. I do like that it is the gloss black that's pretty much on the whole lower bumper trim, and they even encase it around where you would put your license plate. You do get a dual exhaust outlet. It's just going to be on this one side, which to me looks a little naked because of the sporty attributes that they put into the rear with the spoiler and the lights configured into it. Going inside to your cargo at 16 cubic feet, the Honda will be the largest, but that's also a longer vehicle. We have a spare tire tucked underneath the floor, a cargo hook that could hold up to 22 pounds. The rear bench split folds to a 60/40 with your 360-degree reverse camera and your front and reverse parking sensors. The new Hyundai Sonata with the limited trim gives us the sporty attributes. We're obviously missing the in badging because that would be where the performance is at. However, they back the performance with a smart stream 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder producing 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed Speedtronic achieving 27 to 37 mpgs, which is pretty much the best in this comparison. A 0 to 60 around 7.3 seconds, which is about the same speed or maybe a little bit quicker than the Nissan. Quarter mile is going to be the slowest at 15.9 seconds, but not by much, so you're not really looking for full-blown performance when you get the limited trim. However, the top speed at 124 miles per hour will beat the Honda Accord, and you got that wide face, and even the exit for the rear is something that just shows performance driven even with the smaller engine trim. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Hyundai Sonata Limited as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Hyundai Sonata Limited, you're going to receive 40 inches of headroom, 46.1 inches of legroom, which is quite a bit. It actually beats all of the competition. It's a gray on gray leather bucket front seats. You got 10-way power adjustment for the driver, 6-way power adjustment for the passenger, perforated, like the stitch work, heated, ventilated. You're gonna have the aluminum outlining your infotainment screen and different parts of the dash to give a sporty, unique styling with the contrast stitching. And I like how they do the same concept with your air vents, so it just keeps that sport attribute. Dual climate control settings is set here as well. You don't have to do everything through that touch screen, and this is the 10.25 with navigation. So we have the pinch. This has the swipe. Click on the side and you have some quick icons here, or you could just enlarge that screen. Click into the home button. We have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Blue Link HD radio. Put it into reverse. We do have full trajectory. It's a 360-degree reverse cam. You can zoom in or zoom out, and you can change different camera positioning to make it easy for your reversing. So I do like the technology that we're getting, because this is above and beyond, and this comes out of the Genesis as well. So you have to take these things in consideration when this vehicle's under $40,000 and you're getting Genesis inside it. In the center, you have your 12-volt, 2 USB ports, and your wireless charging, and a large area for storage. All of it's going to be gloss black on the driver's side. For your push button to put it in reverse, neutral, or drive, you have your driver mode select, and you can click for your cameras to see that 360-degree reverse camera right on the fly. You also have your auto hold, which is a nice attribute because, again, you're getting luxury. Cup holders, 16.9-ounce fits with no issues, and an area for your key fob, probably a 32-ounce without any issues, and you have the aluminum inlays. Open up inside here, it's a pretty deep, it's just not so wide of a storage. It's going to be more firm drive. Steering wheel, leather wrap, it's heated, multi-function with the paddle shifters. You receive the gloss black on the stocks, which is just paying attention to detail. A 12.3 digital gauge reader, which you can change it to any way you want it to be configured. Plus, when you change it into the different modes, it gives you a nice little sparkle to make you feel a little bit more excited. Door panel, harder materials, upgraded Bose sound system memory for the driver. You're going to get the silver around the door handles, and you get the contrast stitching. One touch up and down, dual pane front windows. I do like the grab handle idea. I just don't necessarily like the way it's done, because if you're tall, you have to kind of go backwards. In storage, I was only able to fit about two 16.9-ounce water bottles. If you fit more, it's going to just fall out and go behind the pedals, and you just got to be cautious. The pano is large, it's not so wide, and it actually starts almost where my head is, so I don't necessarily like that, but that's because the way the windscreen is. We do have a heads-up display. We're going to put this pano back and see how I look in the back seats. For the back seats, I'm at 37.4 inches of headroom, 34.8 inches of legroom. One thing that I dislike is there's only storage behind the passenger seat, not behind the driver's seat. You get one USB and your air vents, but you do feel the air circulating all around you. Because of the way the roof is structured, that pano doesn't really come all the way back either. So it's yet again in front of my head, where it was behind my head in the front. So a couple of things that just in the engineering, you do lose a little bit of that ambiance in the interior. As for the elbows, it's going to be soft here. Cup holders, a 16.9-ounce will just rattle around, so maybe a 20-ounce will be max. Door panel, harder materials. You're going to get the silver to open the door, and on the grab handle, the same scheme goes from the front with that contrast stitching, and you can only fit one 16.9-ounce water bottle or maybe a small flask. So storage is going to lack if you're comparing this to the Honda Accord or the Toyota Camry or even the Nissan Maxima. But you still have more of a sporty feel because the door panels are raised. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is going to be pretty much an issue, especially the same with legroom. I am blocking the air vents, the one USB port, sharing feet, butt, shoulder space, push you up forward, and it does push you upwards as well. So that's why the seat is not necessarily as comfortable. The only other thing that I will note is because of my height in the front and the rear, if you're noticing, I'm hitting my head on the headliner because of the structure of the exterior appearance. So you're going to have a give or take, and you're going to actually want to sit a little bit more in, which the seats actually do sit that way anyways, and it's more of a comfortable ride. Taking the 2022 Hyundai Sonata out for our test run. This is the 1.6 liter turbocharged 180 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, 8-speed automatic transmission. So I do like that. You do sit a little bit lower, even though the ground clearance is a little bit higher. So I do like the fact that that offsets it, because you can go over speed bumps without any issues. Because of the designing in the exterior, the window is not necessarily that large. However, it just pushes back that pano moonroof, which kind of wish it didn't. We do have the indicators where it shows the cameras in the driver gauge cluster, which is a really nice thing because it makes it easier for you to see as well. As for stopping and turn radius, we're going to check that right now. So stopping, you can do so more or less on a dime if you have to. Turn radius is going to be about 2 and a part lane. Give it some gas. It livens up pretty good. I mean, you do have enough kick underneath this 1.6 liter turbocharged, so you don't necessarily have to opt for the bigger engine on the inline. Now, one thing when I did the inline, the performance was so much that it was hard to keep the vehicle planted. This one, from the drive to where I've been in the destination, and you'll see, doesn't get as wheel happy. So I do like that because you still have the performance cues behind it. I have it in sport mode. We're coming to a red light. We're going to see that performance in just a second. We got it in sport mode. It's in manual, red light, waiting for it. Here we go. I mean, the numbers project a higher 0 to 60. I passed every single person. I feel that this thing is really quick. You are getting Genesis components in this vehicle, and that is just something that blows my mind away, because a Genesis is going to be more in the high 40s to $60,000. You're getting this for under $40,000, and look at what you're getting. As soon as it goes. So when you find the right gear, it does take a little bit of hesitation because this is a smaller engine and it does have a pretty good bang of power. It's going to lag here and there. So you'll have a few seconds of lagging, whereas on the inline or the in, you're not going to have that because it's going to be more airtight. Fun to drive factor, you still get it. Dynamics, it stays relatively planted and solid. A little bit artificial with a little bit of weight. Going over imperfections, you'll hear it. It doesn't feel too bad in the suspension. Just, you get that lag and then it goes. As an everyday vehicle, great blend for what you get. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. To start off with, what I like about it is, even though the performance is the lowest in the comparison to Honda, Toyota, Nissan, you still get great numbers. 27 to 37 mpgs, that is crazy. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is how it holds itself. You have the wide feel, so it feels almost similar to a TLX in the Acura. Not like a Type S, but just the way it's handled, it just feels very sporty and athletic. So when you're looking for the safety perspective, the windows are large, you can see everywhere, plus you have it in the gauge cluster when you use your indicators. The last thing that I like about it is the technology that you get is beyond the best. I mean, you get the turn signals in your gauge cluster. You never have to take your eyes off of the center. You got your heads-up display. Your navigation is big enough. There's nothing that's an eyesore, in which when you go into the other brands, you're going to start seeing things that doesn't look like it's placed in the right areas. Hyundai, the way they engineer their vehicles, it just seems like, you know what, they're going above and beyond. We're going to stop in the middle of the road. There was a nice police officer earlier. Hopefully he'll still be nice. Here we go. You do hear the engine note. It's going to get a little throaty, not really like a drone note. 3 things that I dislike has to start off with, if you are trying to give it a go, like now, look at this, the hesitation. I got the pedal pushed all the way down and it's not changing gears, and it's in sport mode. So because it's a smaller engine and it does have a lot of performance in the sense, I know it's under 200 horsepower and 200 pound-feet of torque, it's still just a lot of power for a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine. And I dislike that because when you're trying to go up onto the interstate, it gets a little tough. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle goes to the charging ports for the back. You only get one USB port. This is the limited trim. And the last thing that I dislike is the pano moonroof. It's too far back for me in the front because I'm in front of it. And when I'm in the back, it's actually in front of me. So I don't really get the benefit other than the vitamin D that's coming through it. I can't actually look unless I'm looking at a 90-degree angle. For an everyday vehicle, you have it. Comparing it to the competitors, performance-wise, it's going to be not as much as some of the rivals, but better gas consumption. Interior space, it's going to be more in the Camry. The curb appeal on this one is going to set itself apart for more sporty and an athletic styling cues. I'd like to thank Brandon Hyundai for giving us this 2022 Hyundai Sonata Limited for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click the next video, the subscribe button. Check out the details merchandise website and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.